welcome back to my channel. So, a few updates. I did temporarily fix my ring light and I just went to use it and the wires completely came out of the little on and off switch area. So that was great. I need to buy a new one. So we have got to film with quite a dim, cozy vibe lighting. I don't think it looks too bad, but I don't think it looks great. So I am going to film a couple of videos today. So hopefully by the time I come to film again, I'll have a new light. Today's video is going to be a book haul, book triggers video. I do want to talk quite a lot about the books that I've read, so I am going to say they may be spoilers. I'm not going to purposely spoil the book or books, but I would like to talk about them without trying to restrict myself, if that makes sense. So I will let you know the books that I've actually read, and if you want to skip those ones then you can do and continue watching the haul. But let's get started with these. So I have read the first one, but I haven't got the book with me because my sister is borrowing it. So I have these two. Let's just do one at a time. The first book I really enjoyed. I had wanted to watch it for a while. Oh, read it. I mean, my brain is a little bit foggy. I wanted to read it for a while. The first book, this one, The Housemaid. But when I read the back of the book, it sounded good, but I wasn't super dying to read it, if that makes sense. However, when I saw that they were going to make it into a film, that's when I was like, I need to go and read it, because I will definitely watch the film. And I'd like to read the book first. If I read the book first, I'm happy to watch the film. If I watch a film first, I can't then go back and read the book. It just doesn't work for me. And I really enjoyed it, I must say. I can see why there was such a hype. However, a lot of the comments about the first book was that it's super thrilling and can be a little bit just really thriller-like. I didn't really find that. I really loved the book and I loved the story, but I didn't find it super kind of thrilling or kind of scary in any way. I was just dying to know what happened and where the story was going to go. So I loved the first one. The first one, I'd say, I don't want to quite give it a 5 out of 5, but I'd say like a 4.5. I did really enjoy it. I didn't realise that it came in kind of a series, so I actually brought this one next. I love the packaging of this one. I like the colouring of the book. I brought this one next, and I opened the book and it said Millie, and I was like, that's the character from the first book. So I googled if this was an actual series. I thought it might be that it was different maids, different stories, but within the same kind of theme. But no. So the blue one is the first one, if you didn't know. The red one is the second one, and the white one is the third one. So as soon as I realised I couldn't read this, I went and bought this straight away, because I really wanted to read the white one, the third one, because it sounded really good. This one I did enjoy, but definitely not as much as the first one. The first one is just set in one place in the house, basically, that Millie cleans. This one, it's a little bit more all over the place. You've got her apartment, you've got her boyfriend's apartment, you've got the apartment that she cleans. So there's a lot of different areas and scenes in this book, different places in this book. I didn't like that as much. However, I thought the story was good. Somewhat predictable, but then also not super predictable. I kind of had an idea of what might happen, but not exactly. But it was good. The story was really good, and how it all comes together is really, really good. And then I moved on to the third book. I have read quite a few Frida McFadden books without kind of realising. The first book of hers I read was Ward D, which I really, really enjoyed. And then I think I got these ones, and then I have another one here that I haven't read yet. But back to this. I really enjoyed this third one as well. Slightly more than the second one, because again it kind of goes back to just being set in one place rather than different places. The story's good. There's a few more characters in it. It's nice to follow Millie's story as well. So I did enjoy this one. My favourite out of the three is the first one. Then I would have to say probably the third one, and then the second one. You could, in my opinion, read these separately. Even though it follows the same character, you could accidentally read this one first and then go back and read the second and the first one and catch up with the story. There's not really anything in these books that like ruin the first one, in my opinion. There is another book that I was reading at the same time, not at the same time, but I read just after The Housemaid, and that was Verity, which I brought a while back when I was on holiday. And again, I saw that they were making that into a film, so it's been on my read list. So sorry, it's been on my read list for a while. And I just didn't get around to reading it. But when I saw that that was being made into a film, and there's such a hype around The Housemaid and Verity, I don't have the book to that either because my sister has it. I really enjoyed both, so I read them back to back. I feel like Verity is a little bit more on the thriller side than The Housemaid. I really thoroughly enjoyed Verity, slightly more than The Housemaid. I don't know why, it really, really like sucked me in, and some of it was quite dark, which I wasn't expecting, slightly disturbing in places, which I wasn't expecting, and the ending, I just could not wait to find out what was going to happen. So, and Verity leaves you with a bit of it's kind of up to you to determine what you think of what happened in the book. It's quite interesting. So I really thoroughly enjoyed Verity too. I would say that I wouldn't quite put it as a 5. It's quite hard for me to mark a book quite high, but I would say that's probably a 4.5. I'd say maybe Housemaid 4, Verity 4.5. But I'm very, very excited to see the films of both of those. I'm pretty sure The Housemaid comes out this year, and I'm pretty sure Verity comes out next year. Let's move on. Okay, so I've got a few books up here, and I don't know because the lighting, you may not know what they are, but I have never read a fantasy book apart from Harry Potter, which I don't really feel like that counts because it's a child's book basically. So this is my first dive into fantasy, and I was very excited. So the only one I've read so far is this one, which is the Night Court edition. It is gorgeous. It was from Waterstones. I actually quite like the style of the coloured books, but they didn't have the coloured books in Waterstone, so I bought this one, and now I have finished this one. I have purchased the second one here, and now I have to purchase them all in this style, which I don't mind, but it's exclusive to Waterstones, I think, in the UK. Anyway, so I was recommended this. Obviously this book, this series of books is everywhere. This author is everywhere, and I know she has a ton of other books as well, like other series of books. I was talking to someone who loves fantasy, loves dark fantasy, dark romance, and I said to her I'd love to try fantasy. However, I'm not really into dragons and war and stuff like that. It's just not really my cup of tea. I've never tried it, but I just don't think I would like it. And this one was recommended because it's not really that way. So it's not got dragons in it, or a ton of dragons, not in this first one anyway. There's a battle in it. It's not really war, I guess, but it's not like a war. So yes, I kind of dipped my toe. I was worried to start fantasy because I thought I'm either going to completely hate it or I'm going to love it and become obsessed. To be fair, after this first book, I'm somewhat in the middle. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked the fact that it was more different realms with creatures. There's humans in it. There's a human realm, and then there's other realms with different creatures. Obviously it's a romance kind of love story involved, but I have seen a lot of people say that they start to love this series more after the first book. I've seen a lot of like people rating their favourite books of these, and this one's usually quite far down, to be fair. A lot of people prefer the second, I don't know which ones they are, the second, the more thicker ones. So I am intrigued. I just finished this last night, so I am intrigued to start the second one. The second one is a lot thicker. A Court of Mist and Fury. It's a lot thicker. But I am intrigued to kind of find out what happens next. I love the edging of this book. So when I brought the first one, A Court of Thorns and Roses, I brought these two at the same time, which we'll get to in a minute. And I was going to start one of these two next. However, I want to actually finish this series first because I don't want to get mixed up with this fantasy and one of these books and the characters and stuff, especially reading them kind of back to back. So I'm going to get through this series first, and then I will move on to the other fantasy books that I have been reading a lot more frequently recently. I've always read for a long time now. Like, when I was younger, I didn't read as much, but in my 20s I started reading quite a lot. And I wouldn't say fall out of love, but I go through stages where I just can't get into books. Even if they're really good, I just cannot get into them, and it can take me a while to get through a book. However, recently I have just been loving reading. Any opportunity I can get to read, that is what I'm doing. So okay, let me show you the other fantasy books that I have. Obviously, I had to get Fourth Wing to try, because this book again is everywhere. It was recommended, even though I was told this does have dragons in it, and it's a bit more. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I was just told there's dragons in this, but it's just not too much. I don't know. I've not read it yet. I love the packaging. It's stunning. I have seen the paper, the hardback, and the hardback looks gorgeous. But I love a paperback, so I got it in a paperback. This is pure escapism. Think Hunger Games meets 50 Shades. I mean, that sounds really interesting. I like the Hunger Games. I like 50 Shades. Yeah, so dragon riders, basically army, stuff like that. So we'll see how I get on with this. I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it, so. I'm pretty sure there's only 3 of these in the series, if I'm correct. But it's a pretty thick book, so I don't know how long it will take me to get through it. The words are quite small. In the A Court of Thorns and Roses book too. I felt like I was on the page for ages reading. But I am intrigued to try this. I love this. It's gorgeous. This one I was talked into getting at the till when I was buying those two. And to be honest, it sounds right up my street. It is a special edition one, I think. How gorgeous is that? And it was half price, I think. So I was like, do you know what? Just give me the book. Blood over Bright Haven. I haven't heard of it. I haven't heard anyone talking about this. I think it's new. Or new-ish. 2020. Alright, okay. So it was originally self-published in 2023. It was published in the UK in 2024, and then Penguin published it this year. So I will read you the back of this one. I'm going to assume you kind of know what these two are about. That's why I didn't bother to read the back. Plus, in fantasy, some words I do not know how to say, and I don't want to embarrass myself. But this sounds right up my street. I don't know if it's part of a series. I don't know if it's standalone. I really don't know much about it, but I'm really excited to start this. But it says, for 20 years, see, already we've got a name I don't know how to say. Skyona. I don't. Instead of a lab assistant, she's paired with a janitor, putting her crucial research at risk. But Thomil wasn't always a janitor. Once a nomadic hunter from the wild plains outside the city, he now sees a chance to understand the forces that decimated his tribe and drove him from his homeland. Together they will uncover an ancient history that would change the course of magic forever, if it doesn't kill them first. Love the sound of this. It sounds quite Harry Potter vibes because it's magic and it's in a university, and I really like the sound of it. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I'm intrigued to give it a go. I may start this one after A Court of Thorns and Roses series, because if it is just a standalone, then I can move on to Fourth Wing and just get into that series separately. I feel like this would be a good book to read about now, in kind of October, November time. It's cosy, it's Halloween vibes, but I am intrigued. Let me know if anyone has read this and if you enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. We still have 2 more books to get through. I actually forgot to include this book at the beginning. I have read this book. This was in one of my last book hauls. I was going to save it for New Year vibes, New Year time, because this book is based at New Year, and it's basically a quick run through. In a remote hunting lodge deep in the Scottish wilderness, old friends gather for New Year. The beautiful one, the golden couple, the volatile one, the new parents, the quiet one, the city boy, the outsider, and the victim. Not an accident, but a murder among friends. I didn't mind this book. It was okay, but I didn't like the pace of it. It was a bit too reminiscent. So the group of friends, it constantly goes back and tells stories from when they were at uni together and this and that, and it tries to build the characters ready for like the end and the big kind of final reveal of what happened. But it gets a little bit like, I don't care about what they did 20 years ago. I want to know what's going on now. A little predictable, especially towards the end. I feel like you could maybe guess halfway what the story's going to be. I kind of knew, I think something was off about a character and that they potentially could be the ones that have done it, but I didn't know why. So there was still a few surprises, but it wasn't my favourite. It's not a book that I would keep. It's not a book that I would read again. It's probably a book, if the packaging or the cover wasn't so kind of striking, I feel like this could be a book that I would forget about, that I've read. Unfortunately, very, very sorry to the author, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So yeah, the last book that I have is a new book, and it is a Frida McFadden book. This sounds so good. The Surrogate Mother. She was promised a miracle. She got more than she bargained for. Abby wants a baby more than anything. But after years of failed infertility treatments and adoptions that have fallen through, it seems like motherhood is not in her future. That is until her personal assistant, Monica, makes a generous offer to serve as a surrogate. It's an offer that will make all of Abby's dreams come true. But soon strange things start happening, and it turns out Monica isn't who she says she is. The woman now carrying Abby's child has a unspeakable secret, and she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. I really love the sound of this. I like the cover. It's not that thick. This is why I like Frida McFadden books. She's so good at what she does, but they are quite fast paced. They get into a story quite quick, but yet you can still gauge a character. Like in The Housemaid, Millie, all of the characters in the books, you just learn about them really, really quickly. It doesn't take a lot to really understand them and know about them, but yet it's quite fast paced. There is a couple more Frida McFadden books I'm interested in, but I can't quite remember which ones they are. I see a lot of people doing reviews on her books and putting them in order of their favourite to least. I don't know if there's a little list in here of her books. Yeah, I don't know if I can remember. This one with the cover has a couch on it. Some people say that's really, really good and it's underrated. Some people say it's not so good. So it just depends, doesn't it, on preference. The Crash is meant to be good. I really liked Ward D. Cannot really remember what this one's about. Some people say this is really good. I just don't really like the sound of this book, but I might give it a go. But yes, I have a lot of books to get through. But I'm very excited to get through them, to be fair. I might read this in between some of the fantasy books as a little break and a little bit of a palette cleanser, because it's quite short as well. Okay, that was my book haul, book chit chat, book ramble video. I hope you enjoyed it. It felt very rambly and like there wasn't much to do with book triggers, but I have not filmed for a while and I felt like I just needed to get a lot out. I will, of course, keep you updated with any books that I do read. Probably going to be a few months from now, but I will come back and let you know what I thought of the ones I haven't read yet and these fantasy books as well. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next time.